My country people, how una day this morning? Hope say una day well. I hope my pidgin English actually, is 10 over 10 because we are trying to, still work on it. You're welcome to the Morning Drive live on ECWE Television International. My name is Magdalene Azal, and as calm as I am this morning, I want us to talk about something important, which is, well, distraction. What is your distraction? What is that thing, that takes your mind off the very thing you are supposed to do? Because that is distraction, changing your direction or changing your mind towards what exactly you are supposed to do. And it can be long term, it can be short term, but it has to be that every day of your life you have something you want to achieve. And it has to be that in a month you have something you want to achieve. It has to be that in a year there is something you want to achieve. It has to be that in your life as a whole you have something you are working towards achieving. So if you are not still yet where you are, or if you are not achieving that very thing you want to achieve, what is that thing that is stopping you? And most times distraction comes, there's internal, there's external, and then there are some things that just come to your mind, and it just sets you off balance. It just makes you go off, forgetting particularly what you want to achieve in a day. So waking up today, what is that thing you want to achieve? Make sure that as you're watching, you get to get some of the points I'm going to be talking about here, so that you try to avoid or you try to do some of the things I would say, so that you keep being on track. You have to, the first thing I want us to talk about is that if you want to achieve something, you have to figure out why you want to even do something at the first place. So you should ask yourself, if you want to achieve something, why do you want to achieve it? Do you want to achieve it because, well, I don't want to give you any answer, but it has to be that, when you ask yourself why you want to do something, it has to be that, you get an answer out of it. So what is that thing you want to achieve, and why do you want to achieve it? That is one thing you need to focus on. And another thing is clarify your day before you start. Most times people just say, I have this, I have that, I want to do. But it's just that they just keep their days, blank. They just feel like, well, anyhow it come, we will just fix them, or anyhow it come, we will just do one. But maybe it will work for some people, but maybe it will not work for some people. So you have to know that, okay, if you want to achieve something, you have to have, a plan for how your day is going to be. There are some people who will just wake up to a lot of things that they want to do without having a chart of prioritized, events. That no matter how it is, you cannot have more than two things that are most, of priority to you. Definitely everyone has its own stage. You may have a lot of things that are of priority to you, but there are things that are most, the top before it goes down to the ones that, even if you don't have to, if you don't get to do it, it doesn't affect anything. So you have to know these things in that way, in that order, so that you start, achieving them in that order. And there are some days people will just wake up with, going back to what I wanted to say, a lot of things that you don't just want to achieve in a day, without them taking time to see, okay, if I want to do this thing this way, I have to wake up earlier than usual. You have 20 things you want to do in a day, and you're waking up around 8 a.m. in the morning. So tell me, if on a usual, you always do 5 things, and that day you're having like 20 things you want to achieve, and you still wake up, that very time you always wake up, or sometimes even later than how you wake up. So tell me how you would want to achieve it. You would just, at the end of it, you will even burn out without achieving anything you want to achieve, because you did not give your time, you did not give yourself the, the appropriate time or the needed time, to help you work on all those things you want to work on. You just gave yourself the task without giving yourself the time, and at the end, you start rushing, then you don't even get to achieve exactly what you want to achieve. And sometimes people even start with things they don't even need to start with. At the end, the one that they are supposed to start with suffers, because at the end you don't get to achieve all the things you have in your list you want to achieve that day. And it just works, it just goes like that. So you have to be very sure you know what you want to achieve, and then you clarify your day by having the chart of the most prioritized things, so that you start with them. Even though it is advisable that if you have, there are things that are prioritized, and then it is possible that in doing them, they may be difficult, but you have to look for the smallest things that you will help, that you start with, even if something even if you're prioritizing something. In the method of doing it, sometimes we have something, but you want the highest, I want it to be like this. Okay, if you cannot achieve it being like that, how do you start? Just start it as it is. Just start as little by little, and then at the end of it, you will see that, okay, those little things you have gathered will actually accumulate and then bring out better results than you thinking, I want to just start it from there. Before you know something, you have to learn. Allow yourself the privilege, of learning to do things, then you achieve those things you want to achieve. And another thing is, make every minute of your life count. So many people don't even give priority to time. They just feel like, it is my life, I can do it when I want to do it, I can live as I want to live it. But still, those same people, when they get to see other people excelling, or growing in what they are doing, they start getting jealous. They start getting this kind of nasty feeling about, how is it that we are trying to do same thing, but other people are at a stage that I am not. It's because they give themselves, like, they time themselves. They tell themselves, like, okay, before this time, I would want to achieve this thing. So no matter, and time doesn't stop for you to, think about what you want to do before it starts ticking. It is all round. Another person somewhere is appreciating the time that he has, while you're here not appreciating it. So you think time is going to wait for you. No, it is not going to wait for you. So you have to make sure, you make every minute of your day or every minute of your time count. And in doing that, waking up every day, you have to say, okay, just the way I talked about having long-term, short-term, goals. If you have something you want to achieve, definitely you have the overall, frame. But what do you do now to start something, to get to that very thing you want to get? If you check out what you want to do, how you want to do them, then you have the time for, okay, today I would want to do this thing, tomorrow I want to do this thing, before I will get to that very stage. If, like, okay, let me say, if you are in the industry, probably in the media industry, and you see how somebody is doing, or a TV station is doing so good, or a presenter in a TV station is doing so good, and you think, I want to be, better than this person, you have to make sure that, okay, in your presentation, every day of your life, you give yourself a little bit of time that you do self-practice. Tell yourself, okay, today I want to practice this, tomorrow I want to practice this. There are some words that are actually very difficult for us. Sometimes you think, this person knows how to speak English, but there are some words the person doesn't even know how to use. But when you come across this kind of words, you can go back, check your dictionary, know how the word can work in a word or in a sentence. Then keep practicing how you can say those words, and at the end of it, you have achieved something. It can be as little as that, but you have there's a level of growth that you have attained at that time, because you didn't know it, you researched, you learned it, and then you're using it. So it is something. Don't just look at things as if this one doesn't matter, this one doesn't matter. Every little thing matters, especially when you want to grow. Okay, if you want to grow, you have to take everything seriously. So you have to make sure that you make every day of your time count by by making sure you learn something new every day, or do something new every day to improve yourself. Control your internal distractions. There are so many internal distractions. One, it can be like there are so many thoughts that can come to your mind, and you just feel like you're trying to do something, but the distraction keeps coming, and you just feel like, let me just rest, or let me just leave this thing and focus on something else. Probably the thing will come back. What if the thing doesn't come back? So you have to manage, some of these mind thoughts or some of these things, and that is why it is good to keep your mind sound, especially if you want to achieve something. If you want to achieve something and your mind is occupied with a lot of things that are not necessary at that time, you don't get to achieve what you want to achieve. And then talking about external distractions, which can be a whole lot. It can be your phone, it can be the internet, it can be trends, it can be family, it can be the children, your wives, husbands. But then if you have something you want to achieve, you have to know how to balance it. You work, definitely, because through your work your family will get to eat. But if you don't work, your family will not get to eat. So if they are the ones who are now making your work difficult for you, then you have to find a way of balancing it. Okay, there are some days that you have a lot of things to do, and when you get to the house, the children are, mommy this, mommy that, daddy this, daddy that, and then sometimes instead of you to concentrate on what you're supposed to do, you're having fun with the children. Even though it is good to have time with the kids, okay, but if you have something you need to do, you have to make them understand that daddy is busy and I have to do something, but I will get back to you. And you go back to doing your thing. You can be in a place that they don't even need to come and disturb you, and at the end of it, you achieve what you want to achieve. Talking about internet, most times when you're doing something, you'll be like, let me just distract myself a little. At least I can go back to to doing what I am doing. At least they said too much work and no play makes Jack what, I don't know. But then it makes you feel like, what, how are you sure that if you take your phone and then do what you want to do, you can still go back with that same momentum that you had, or with that same zeal, or that same energy that you were doing that thing? How are you sure that you will come back to it the same thing, the same way? So you have to be very careful. And you know what? One thing with the internet is that it gives you a whole lot. It gives you a whole lot. Sometimes when you pick your phone, you will just be saying something, you just be checking something, the next thing, 1 hour, 2 hours, you will even forget that you had something you were doing, and you just said at least you needed a little bit of distraction. Sometimes it is not the distraction that you need is not for you to get another phone. It's not for you to go to your phone, or it's not for you to, like, the distraction is maybe you just need a little bit of rest, then before you go back to what you're doing. So if you're busy, if you're doing something and then you feel a little bit overwhelmed by what you're doing, then maybe you should just allow it and then go back into yourself. And that is why they said meditation is so important. People should take meditation seriously, because it brings that refreshment. It makes you go back to yourself. It makes you go in and open up to yourself and, use your third eye, which is your mind, think about things and then work out. It always comes out well. I would always say, like, the economy is not friendly on people. Nothing is friendly right now. But the only thing, you need to do is for you to work on yourself and work on how you are going to get yourself to where you want to go to. Don't allow distraction to make you feel like, okay, you are not going to achieve that thing you want to achieve, because trust me, there are a whole lot of distraction out there, but only when you allow yourself, oftenly to get distracted. Because as we say, it is easier said than done. Most times you just feel like, okay, I will not be distracted, or even if I'm distracted now, at least before the end of the day I can achieve what I want to achieve. Avoid getting burned. Make sure that you work at the very pace or at the very time you need to work, so that you don't burn yourself out, and at the end of it, you get sick, or you get tired of doing things the way you're doing it, because you keep rushing, and it doesn't give you the desired result that you want to achieve. Right now we'll go for our video of the day, and when we come back, I'll still continue on distraction.
My name is Sunday. Okay, yeah. This is what I do for the living to survive myself. So I do wake up around 7:30 to come to the shop and meet up with my base. So sometimes I used to come out, I'll not get job, I will still keep on doing it so that I'll make sure that I'll not go out there and beg for anything, food, or beg for money. So this is what I do for my living to survive myself. This is what I wear clothes today is because of this work I'm doing. I eat is because of this work I'm doing. So I'm trying to encourage you guys out there to please find something doing so that you help out yourself. This is what I survive myself with for now. And I'm happy with the job. So sometimes I do go out there to buy materials. People, if any day I go out to buy material, maybe I bought this one now today 100 naira, maybe I go tomorrow, they will tell me it's 200, but I will still buy it. When I supply to my customers, they will complain that I'm going higher every day, but that is what the market give out there. So I'm trying to tell the government to help, although me, I'm trying to help myself, not until I wait for the government. The hustle, they pay.
Thank you for staying tuned. This is still the Morning Drive, live on ECWA Television International. And I want to go to Luke 10:41, which says, "But the Lord answered and said to her, Martha, Martha, you are worried and bothered about so many things." Martha in the studio is like, "Oh, are you talking to me?" "Oh, the Lord is talking to you. Actually, I am not the one." But sometimes you just get so worried and bothered about things. And that is also a distraction. It is not all about, okay, the children, you were doing something, the children came and said, "Hey, daddy," or "Mommy," or what. That is not just the distraction. The distraction sometimes is internal, just the way I said earlier. It is internal. And it has to do with you, your whole you, what you think of, what you're worried about, and all these things. And I would always say, go back to God. Whatever the situation is, go back to God. Go to Him. Pray to Him. Ask Him to direct you. Ask Him to give you the peace, even in, the situation that you are in. And God is going to help you out. So the distraction doesn't have to be people. The distraction has to be also, what you are doing and how you are doing it. Why are you worried, Martha? Why are you worried, Magdalene? Why are you worried, Victor? Why are you worried, Hassan? Why are you worried? Leave it to God, because trust me, it is another part of distraction. It will distract you from that very purpose that you are trying to pursue. So get yourself so free to the extent that your mind is so free from so many worries, and then it gives you the fresh idea, or it gives you the fresh way of thinking, to achieve that very purpose you're trying to achieve. So I hope you have learned about things that can keep you distracted, and then how you can overcome distraction. Thank you very much for watching, and bye bye.